Hello, everyone. Welcome once again, and welcome to the new ones who have just joined. My name is Kalyan, Procurement Engineer at Spendflo. Been here at Spendflo for around 4+ years. And in this 4+ years, I've been working with more than 100 plus organization, helping them to set up procurement teams and also make their procurement teams efficient, agile, and with little bit of automation. So really excited to be here and looking forward to having going through this session today. I'll pass on to my colleague Gaurav here. Gaurav, over to you.
Thanks, Kalyan. So I used to previously lead procurement at a startup that eventually went on to list on Nasdaq. So fairly, hands-on with the procurement space in general, and really excited to walk through, this whole workshop with you. If you have any questions, and would love to hear them and address them as we go along. Kalyan, we can, I think, get started. I think we have quite a few folks on.
Fantastic. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And we start off with a little bit of quick background of what we are exactly doing here. I think one of the key things for me personally, when I was working for all of this 100+ organization throughout my career at Spendflo, every organization, the CFO will come back and say, hey, Kalyan, I want to get a spend cube analysis of all our spend in last 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. And it's a terribly slow manual work to do every single time. So I think the very curiosity to think about building an agent came from the fact that what exactly can be done, where to begin. And if you see at the first prompt, which you see here, I'm put up in Claude, is I work in procurement. Every month, our finance team sends me a GL export, thousands of rows, vendor departments, amounts. It's a mess. I know there's something useful in there, but I don't know where to start. Can you help me figure out what I actually want to build? It's a curious question, and that's where we start. So let's jump right in and let's brainstorm with Claude on creating this agent or project, as Claude says.
So, Kalyan, as we go along, I mean, what would happen if we did not prompt it this way? What if we just dump like a raw GL file and ask it to, get started with it?
That's a great question. So usually what happens is all of this chat tools which we have, because they have access to web, they have the ability to keep hallucinating a lot when you are inputting this data. And as you will build and as we go through this journey, you will actually understand that sometimes it's actually not just one question which you are asking to something like a Claude and getting an answer. It's actually a sequence of questions which is customized to your use case, what exactly you want, and also a hint of your own expertise, right? And we'll go through this in a couple of prompts from now, but that's exactly what is the differentiating factor. One is a very methodological, accurate, and also a specific spend cube analysis for your organization. And one is something which is hallucinating with some third-party data, which may or may not be the right data for your use case. So I think that's the major differentiator, if you ask me.
Got it. Got it. Thanks, Kalyan.
Cool. So one key learning which I had is that AI agents are very curious to jump on to help you, saying that, hey, you know what, is this what you want? And these are the options and all. I always suggest that you still need to keep your curiosity, depending on the response you get, right? Figure out your prompt, which will work. So this is my prompt. In this case, I want three things. One is structure, spend cube. Why? Because a structured spend cube, which is I have a breakdown with vendor category and department, will actually have more insights at what the department is spending. What are you spending in one particular category? So that's basically what the overall prompt is. Let's click quickly and wait for its response. Any questions, meanwhile, from the audience, which we can answer? More than happy to talk about it.
Right. I think while we are waiting for the first set of results itself, how long did it take you to even figure out these are the, how much experimentation did you have to do to settle on the approach? Because I'm sure one of the key things from for the audience as well is to understand how much time you've saved for them, that they don't have to go through what you've already gone through and short circuited for them.
I think honestly, if I think about it today, I guess
Yeah.
I'm at version 9 of my first version, which I'm still iterating and building. And to reach till version 9, it probably might have taken me around 40 plus hours, right?
Yeah.
But version 1 itself took me 12 hours. But what actually happens is once you have your version 1, the iteration actually slowly, steadily, you'll see between two versions, your time is getting reduced because now you already have built a base to it. And there are a lot of people out there who are utilizing these kind of agents in different ways and different use cases, going very, very clear. Some of them actually are using this so that they can calculate what kind of budget they can forecast better because they know exactly what spend is coming under one department. So the conversation for budget allocation and forecasting with departments becomes very, very easier.
Right.
Awesome. So as you can see in this prompt, it's basically coming back. It's now actually now it is understanding what is my thought process because I did not went through the guidance what he was giving, but I was kind of going into my own way with my own curiosity. And the moment I did that, as you can see, it's exactly able to now give me a very clear analysis. Yes, my deliverable one should have all of this information. Deliverable two should be an Excel workbook which can give me summary by category, the spends, the vendor, like what are the top vendors out there which we are paying for by department and raw data. Deliverable three is executive PowerPoint, which is what the CPO or the Chief Procurement Officer will showcase to the CFO in their leadership catch-ups. So now let's move on to the next prompt, which we want to do it. Now you see that it's asking me about those three files. Now we'll talk a little bit about that. And as we do that, you will have these three files available to use. So one is obviously is the GL download. This is an 18-month GL download, which I'm going to use. One is a global spend taxonomy template. We'll touch upon it as soon as we add this. I'll go through that. And one is vendor parent matching template, mapping template. Let's quickly add those files. Now, when you do a Spendcube analysis, lot of your NetSuite data may not be properly cleaned or does not have right vendor mapping, which is required, or taxonomy mapping. To make sure that you have that, the first thing which you do is we will provide you this template. Just take your raw data for last 12 months and run it against this template. Get your own template of vendor mapping automatically created. It will now you will say that everybody has their own way of setting up the categories and spend. No problem. It will identify those categories and map it. And wherever the data is empty in NetSuite, it will automatically map it based on the context or the pattern. What it says is mapped for the ones which is already mapped in NetSuite. Usually this will be your top spends which you have mapped properly. So that's why this template is very important. I would suggest you to create your own. This is the first step or the first layer where this actually now becomes customized to your use case.
Right. I think, and of course, we'll be sharing a copy of this template, but I think it'll be very interesting for folks on the webinar to play around with their own data and their own downloads. So, they can tailor it to their environment. So it's not just, I mean, we are actually using the capabilities to the maximum. It's not just another, riff on, say, a, Power BI or Tableau report that they can normally access. This goes probably a few levels deeper, I would say.
Yep, agreed. So I think I've given a lot of thinking for Claude to do, so it's going to take some time, but right on cue, we can see that the data, the information is slowly coming. And as you can see is that it first reading the data and based on my thinking and the prompts which I did, which he started mapping, it's trying to take that context and think what exactly is the output I am expecting. And this is the kind of analysis is where the AI agents works well. When you have given clear instruction, you have gave the right context, the AI agents are now actually getting the right context for you to process the right information for you or help you and guide you or brainstorm with you to arrive at the right success milestone, which is customized to your use case. Fantastic. Now you can see that the analysis has been completed. We will now add our next prompt. This is exactly the kind of analysis was needed. Now it is very clear. It has the context, it has everything. Now let's jump right in and get the instruction get the instructions created so that we can copy it and create our project file. Quickly add that. Let's wait for it.
Yeah. So I think we would have saved quite a bit of time and token usage for folks who are attending this, and who don't need to go through this. But what are some of the surprising things you've seen out of this analysis? Like while we wait, I think we can maybe talk about that as well for a few seconds.
Yeah. But yeah, this is where the time might get consumed by your agent.
Yeah,
I hope today it works a little bit faster for the users.
yeah,
But I think this is also one more learning which I have got personally is that what AI is actually doing for me is all of these manual tasks which I have been doing for ages to get the job done, and this being one of them. Once I make it learn and create agents of it, this is becoming faster. Now it's actually giving me most amount of time now to work with the organization to go to the next step of building spend reduction strategies, whether it be through technology, whether it be process automation, whether it be helping getting a system to orchestrate the procurement process so that you have complete control. That's where I'm now spending more time because now I have AI agents doing these kind of data. And this is actually the data which becomes the cornerstone to have those discussions. Always go with data back knowledge. I think it's going to take some time, Gaurav.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's going to look at not just the items where it's sure, but also areas where it'll probably take a few passes to guess. Areas where it's not completely sure, or there are some low confidence items like it's
Yep.
going through. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, since it's taking a bit of time,
Yeah.
I'll
I think
quickly open
yeah.
the one which has already been ready.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see that we already have the instruction set is ready here. This is how the whole instruction is. I'm quickly going to copy this. Open Claude projects. So first I'm going to name this. Let's call it the Spendflo analyst. And the best part of these projects are once you are building this, now you can give access to the overall organization. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And it's ready. So now I'll first copy and paste this instruction. It has also prompted me to add those three files which I have given earlier. So I'm going to add those files, that is the vendor mapping template and the global spend template. And as soon as I do that, and also add the original GL, which I have created on. Now, any GL which I will input, it will now be able to give me the SpendCube intelligence. So they will give two things. One is the Excel. We'll go through that soon. And also the PPT, which you can go and obviously you need to work a little bit more to put your insights on it. But you can go and present those numbers because that's the visual representation what your C-suite level leader will be expecting from you. So we'll quickly add here and say to the PenCube analysis. But we'll not make you guys wait till this prompt comes in. We have made sure that we have make it ready. So this is how your first report will get generated. Let me quickly open that. And as you can see in this, that the first sheet which you're seeing is the executive summary, which is clearly talking about what period the analysis is for, how much spend has happened, total number of transactions, total number of active vendors. Very, very key insights. Once you have the information of vendors, really, really helpful to figure out a targeted plan of action for cost reduction by vendor consolidation. And you can see that not just that, we now have clear spend by category. So we have an L1 category, we have an L2 category, and L3 category. So now you can easily map all of this information of spend directly to departments. And within the departments, if they have sub-departments, like you can see at the L3 case here, you now able to not just map that, you can now go on all your budget or forecasting meetings and go with confidence about how much spend it is, because now this information will become the key to drive cost savings and also much more accountable and data backed budgeting and forecasting. Here are your top vendors. Here are department by category. If you have multiple subsidiaries and you are mapping all of that spend properly, you will also get a clear information of all of the spend across the subsidiaries. You'll also get the monthly trends. Key aspect here while building is the anomalies. These are the places where it will ask you, it will give you the view where there were certain anomalies in certain use cases. Foreign transactions, currencies, if your subsidiaries are working with different currencies, those transactions are also clearly visible. It's also giving you a review queue. These are the ones which are, and this is where actually this becomes a more valuable. This is what you have to do the cleanup, because these are low confidence data points which seems to be either null or it's like a $0 or 1 cent transactions. And if these are data which is not required and it's just creating clutter, you exactly know what data you can go ahead and clean in your ERP. So this is the Excel which becomes the data point. Smart people will actually put this Excel and create another agent so that anybody can now go and query on Claude asking that, hey, what is my spend for last 12 months? Where am I spending the most? And each department can get data very, very customized to their spending patterns.
Absolutely. I think even one of the tabs that you highlighted, Kalyan, yeah, the time wise, this is actually great starting material to create a flux analysis or just see how, spend is moving across different categories. And you can even maybe drill down to say where, for which vendor has, contributed to any increases as we go along.
That's correct. And not just that, you can actually go beyond and figure out in which particular quarter also you are spending the most or where your costing is there, so that maybe you can do even better cash flow management or more predictable cash flow management. So definitely that's where it is useful. And now the same thing is now created on this PPT. So again, like I said, this is an AI PPT. While the numbers looks good, I think you can do a better job with the PPT when you add your own insights on it. But this is exactly where it becomes visual, it becomes easy. It's clearly talking about what are the spends, and you can see that 84.6% of spend is in two categories itself, right? That's a key insight. And it also gives you the trend where you are spending, what is your peak, like we saw that, and also where you actually had a reduction in a month-on-month change. Then you have the vendor concentration risk, that how much spend is getting concentrated. Is it something you have to reevaluate so that you can diversify and make the cost lesser, so that rather than concentrating all the services in one dependency, because tomorrow, if something happens, a problem, it will be a major effect or impact to the organization too. So this is again your spend by department. IT spend deep dive, easy to consolidate. That's what we have been expert at Spendflow for last 4.5 years, and then spend by subsidiary. And this place, that is the recommended actions, this is where you can now also add added intelligence based on the data what you have. So let's say you use an orchestration tool or a contract repository tool which has all this information and it has an MCP, which is you have it has the MCP access. You can connect that to the Claude and start querying more actionable insight. We have seen at Spendflow that what our customers are doing on top of the spend queue, they're actually calling our MCP, and using that, they're actually getting a renewal timeline of what are the highest risk vendors or the higher constant vendors are there when the renewals are coming, so that they can now have a plan for 12 months ago to figure out how to have a POA to reduce cost in different high risk concentration across the vendors or overlap or redundancy. So all of this information is getting powered because the process data on top of an intelligent platform like us is now what is giving out the right output. And same thing, let's say your legal wants to get more information on where the risks are and all via a CLM tool, that exactly these are the spend, let's focus on that. InfoSec also can now use this information from a vendor standpoint and identify that, okay, these category, that is professional and IT, needs to have vendor assessment. How many of the vendor assessment has happened by directly plugging in the data from their InfoSec team? It might be lying in Jira, it might be lying in Manta or Drata, all of those kind of tools. So it has infinite possibilities to help give actionable insight for which earlier finance and procurement folks were spending a lot of valuable manual hours, and give you actionable insight to really go and execute on the field.
Yeah. So I think we have a question as well, Kalyan, which I think you already answered partially. The first part being that can we use Claude directly for this instead of relying on any SaaS application, which I think you touched upon, but maybe we can underline that. And secondly, about can Excel handle this data? I think this also is a good way for us to talk a little bit in more detail about where the MCP part comes in and how does that help for us.
Yeah, that's great. I think the first thing comes is when it comes to can we use this information without an external SaaS tool? Definitely. This particular agent was completely created in isolation. You don't need anything. You just need your Claude license, what you have, and you can literally build this because the input is coming directly from raw files. The possibility of getting it connected with multiple different systems just helps you to make it more contextual to your use cases. That's basically where any SaaS tools out there, when you add it, because some SaaS tool might be taking, because their identity management, they might have usage information on terms of who is using what licenses. So you want that information to see which user is using more amount of, let's say, the spend overall licenses across the places. So these kind of, again, use cases, when it become very niche, is when you require this, or else you can run all of these things on Claude without anything. All you need to focus on is you need to create and train your Claude to do skills. Now, coming to the second one, very good question. Probably have spent 50% of the time to make the SpendCube agent to give the right Excel. And as you can see, 48,000 worth of data points it was able to manage. That is also because is you need to make sure that you are doing QA. So when you do these things, I can also send you this QA prompt if you want as a follow-up. But what you do is you create a QA within this, which is continuously testing. And also you need to take different data sets. So sometimes I was taking 12 months, sometimes I'm taking 24 months, sometimes 18 months. I had to run it 2, 3 times. But honestly, it takes 50% of your time for me because I had to create those prompts which you have seen. For you, it might require an hour of having repeated iteration to make sure it is accurate. And you can just do that by spot checking, like just choose 10 or 15 rows of data and make sure that if that is matching or not. It's actually pretty easy when you have so much amount of data to see if there's accuracy is there. But that's a way where you can actually see, get a QA done so that QA prompt, which helps you to make sure that it is cleaning up the instruction and agent so that the accuracy remains. It's a continuous effort for a couple of days, but it will become a great value add forever. It's a skill.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I was able to answer that question.
Absolutely.
Great. I think with that, really happy to have this first session. Looking forward if we have more questions. If you think you want to digest this and come back and you have some use cases, do come back. We actually have our Slack procurement engineering community. And with the help of this community, we want to create a place where everybody is ideating. People go ahead and build this agent. Let us now go ahead and learn from each other. So be part of the procurement engineering community of Spendflo and Slack. I think we have a question, Gaurav.
Yeah, I think we covered the SaaS application part and Excel part. Maybe I think we can also spend a little bit more time on also the, just how does the MCP layer, really contribute to this? I think that is maybe an area because I don't think we covered that in as much detail.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we jump like right in. Now the
Yeah.
best part is once you have this data here, I
Yeah.
can go ahead and connect my MCP here. And this is something it's very easy to do custom MCP. I think most of the people here should be knowing it. And as soon
Yeah.
as you're done that, you can just say, great. Now I see my Salesforce is highest tech spend. Give me insights on the contract details. Now, because my connector is done, it will automatically will now go ahead and able to create that information. And also, the smart way of doing it is when you're adding your instructions, what you need to do is you can come here and usually because I create a lot of these agents and I have to deploy it because the contract information on top of spend information is what becomes really valuable. And most of our customers, when we build these agents, we just go ahead and add Spendflo in the tools. So this way, once this information is done, you can now query any kind of data points when it comes to the contracts which are there on which the spending is happening, because you have two systems which are processing together to give you the right information. And this is where you can brainstorm with it and create more use cases which can help you to help you to take out a lot of your repetitive work and at the same time give you actionable insight to go and execute.
Great. Thanks, Kalyan. This is super helpful.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you so much, everyone. Really glad everybody joined on this call. Looking forward to communicate with you on our Slack community. Please feel free if you feel like there's a use cases you want to talk about with me or Gaurav. You can just tag us in that Slack channel, and we'll be more than happy to get on a call and talk. And let's just talk about how can we make everybody's manual work and give more time so that they can execute. That's what humans are best at, and that's what we need to focus on. Thank you so much, everyone. It was great having you here. See you for the next workshop in 2 weeks.